Hi there, Sandy here with another jewelry making video at my YouTube channel and my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Today I'm going to show you how you can take a small element, such as small pearls, and put them together in clusters to get quite a dramatic effect. So this design started with these 8 by 13 millimeter lampwork beads that I wanted to make into a bracelet. However, this shape of a bead can be kind of lumpy when you're wearing it as a bracelet. It can be sort of uncomfortable. So what I decided to do was add clusters of pearls in between each one to kind of smooth out the bumps. So for a complete list of supplies, tools, materials that you'll need for this bracelet, you can check out the link in the description box below or up on the screen. So you'll need as many lampwork beads as you want for your bracelet, and then you'll need quite a few small pearls. These are 4 by 7 millimeter potato pearls, they're called, just because of the shape. And then head pins for each of your pearls. I've also picked out just a few beads to go in the center of the bracelet, and a few smaller crystal rondelles to go on the sides, and some bead caps, and then finishing supplies. But the first thing you'll need to do is make a lot of bead dangles. And you do that by sliding a pearl onto a head pin and then making a loop. And when I have so many to make, I love to use my one-step looper because it goes so much more quickly. And there you have in one step a loop, although you may want to go back with chain nose pliers and just double check and make sure that that loop is nice and securely closed. And then repeat for all of your beads. I ended up using 64 of these little pearls. I have 4 clusters of 16. Now if you don't have the one-step looper, it's simple to make these into loops without them. You just need wire cutters. You're going to trim your wire to about 3/8 of an inch after it comes out of the bead. And then just use round nose pliers and twist to make a loop. So either way, make yourself a bunch of simple loop dangles with the pearls. Alright, so you can see I've made a whole bunch of these little bead dangles, and now it's time to start stringing our beads. So I'm going to start with the bead cap to go on either side of one of my lampwork beads, and then the lampwork bead and another bead cap. And then I'm going to add the loops of 16 of these little pearls. And here they are, and you can see you just kind of shake them all down and then they cluster together. So you can add more or less depending on how big of an element you want these to be in your bracelet. Then you just add another pair of bead caps with another lampwork bead, and then string on another 16 loops of little pearl bead dangles. And you can see how these really have quite the presence all their own just by putting them together in clusters. Now we'll add one more bead with bead caps, and that's one side of the bracelet done. Now I'm just going to add a couple of these big 10 millimeter pearls and a bead cap and a 10 by 13 millimeter crystal roundel with another bead cap. That just sort of ties everything together. Another 10 millimeter pearl, and then I'm going to repeat this pattern that I have here with the 3 lampwork beads with bead caps and clusters of 16 pearls in between. So here are all of our lampwork beads and bead clusters strung. So now we just need to bring the bracelet out to the length we need. Keep in mind these are pretty thick beads, and a good rule of thumb is that you take the thickest bead in your bracelet, multiply that diameter by 3, and that's how much you need to add to your usual length in order for it to fit properly. So these are 13 millimeters, so I need to add, or about 1/2 inch, so I'd need to add about 1.5 inches to my 7-inch length of bracelet. And that's what these crystals here are for. I'm just going to slide these on until it's the length I need it to be, and then do the usual finishing with crimps, crimp covers, wire protectors, a clasp, and a bit of chain. So here I finished one side, and let me show you real quick how to finish the other side. So on the other end of the wire I've strung a crimp and a wire protector, And now I'm going to add my clasp on a jump ring. On the other end, I added the end link of a length of chain. And then the wire goes back through the crimp. Pull that up snug and then back it out a little bit to allow some room for your bracelet to bend. You don't want to pull it up too tight or your bracelet will hang very stiffly. And then use your favorite method to flatten that crimp, either crimping pliers or the one-step crimper, or even just flatten it with a pair of chain nose pliers. Make sure it's strong before you trim the extra wire. And then for a nice tidy finish, use crimping pliers to pick up a crimp cover. Slide it over that crimp and squeeze gently to close. Here's another look at the project we made today. I hope you like this idea and that you'll give it a try. So if you ever decide that you are missing some beads, you could make up the difference by just using a cluster of smaller beads. If you like this video, please make sure you've subscribed to my YouTube channel so you'll see more like it. Also give it a thumbs up and share. There are a couple other videos you can watch up on the screen. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog. Happy creating. Bye-bye.